How does raw material work in Pikmin 4? With Pikmin 4 being so massive, raw material is found in every corner, from random piles to inside dirt mounds. The way this raw material is found, just about everywhere, makes the area you are exploring much more full of content. Today, I'll be explaining all the ins and outs of raw material in Pikmin 4 up to my knowledge, as I'm still playing the game myself, just as many of you are. To make sure everyone feels comfortable, spoilers for Pikmin 4 will not be included in this video, as long as it's nothing story-wise. So how does raw material work in Pikmin 4? Well, let's break down the 7 ways of obtaining it. First, let's break down clay mounds. Clay mounds appear all over the place in Pikmin 4's areas. They generally are hidden away or require a certain Pikmin type to obtain, such as behind Hydro Jelly, that's requiring Ice Pikmin, or on top of a high ledge, that's requiring Yellow Pikmin. These dirt mounds take a variety of time to dig up based on the amount of Pikmin you put in, but if you throw a decent amount of Pikmin inside, let's say 10 or more, you should dig it up in roughly 6 or 7 seconds. However, this also depends on what comes out of the dirt mound in the first place. Not only can you dig up raw material, it can also be items such as bomb rocks or matites if you are unlucky, which all have their own separate times to dig up. When you finally dig up your raw material, you are rewarded with 10 to take back to your base, or sometimes a varying amount. Next, piles of raw material. They can be found all over PNF 4.4, ranging from as little as 10 to past 30. However, sometimes underwater, raw material piles get really low, especially in shallow water, being as low as 4 or 5 per pile respectively. This is most likely due to that since only 3 Pikmin types are allowed in the field at a time, it's more than likely that the player doesn't have blue Pikmin in their squad, so having a few amount of them can make it a short trip to bring them back, or to only have a few Pikmin with you so you can have a lot more Pikmin types with you in that area. The third way to obtain raw material is to complete quests. When you save a castaway in Pikmin 4, you have the option to accept quests from them that lead to obtaining raw material as a reward. Take Kingsley for example. By flowering 300 Pikmin and then reporting back to him, he will give you 30 raw material as a reward. This is really useful as you can be productive by both flowering your Pikmin and obtaining raw materials at the same time. Doing daily tasks also gives you raw material. Destroying walls generally gives you 2 raw material per section destroyed, so a full health wall would usually give you 6 raw material. Defeating enemies depends on the size of an enemy, as Sugarubs don't give you raw material, but defeating a bulborb could drop 1 or 2. This doesn't mean large enemies will drop raw material though, as they can just as well drop nothing. The final way of obtaining raw material is nectar eggs, which have a small chance of dropping 1 raw material instead of nectar. Now we might know how to obtain raw material in all these ways, but what about actually using the raw material?
Well, raw material is actually entirely useless until you collect your first castaway. The first castaway you collect is always Russ, which is the scientist of the Rescue Corps. Russ is also the main way you use your raw material. Every day at Rescue Command Post, you have the option to visit the lab. The lab is consisted of 2 categories, gear and items. Items are one-time use gadgets that are used to confront a situation. This could be bomb rocks to kill an enemy, dog bones to feed Ochi, or plenty of other useful items. Russ offers a prototype as your first run, and afterward it costs raw material to buy more. The other half of this menu is the Gear tab, which consists of one-time buying stuff for infinite uses. Here you can upgrade yourself with extra health, resistant to elements, and much more. But the downfall of this is that it costs a lot of raw material to afford these items. These items are well worth it though, and that's what makes raw material so genius. Every time you see a pile of raw material, your mind goes back to the items in the shop, and you collect the raw material in hope of collecting the items. Nintendo really went out of their way to make raw material so appealing to the player. There's one more use to raw material though, and that is to build. When exploring the area, you come across unfinished bridges, climbing walls, sprinklers, and much more. These require a certain amount of raw material, which can be turned into clay at the SS Beagle, and finish up these bridges and climbing walls. This is the other genius of raw material. It makes it even more enticing to collect when you see that unfinished bridge from earlier, and if you just had a few more raw material, you could collect it. Raw material really pulls the whole world of Pikmin 4 together, and I'm glad I could discuss it here today. I might have gotten a few things wrong in this video today, or perhaps there is more to raw material than I have said in this video. Either way, I haven't finished playing the game yet, and I can't wait to finish playing it.
One big thanks to Croton with his Stats of the Wild and Stats of the Kingdom series for inspiring this one, Stats of Pikmin 4. Another huge thanks for watching the video. If you liked the video, like legit, if you enjoyed the video and would recommend watching it, like the video. Subscribe for more Stats of Pikmin 4, as well as subscribe to my friend Couch Pikmin. He is trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers, so let's get him there. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Stats of Pikmin 4.